Hello, friend. This is Ryan Hicks of TalkToProfit.com, and today I want to talk to you about the free idea generation machine that is built within you. You know, many people are looking for that next billion-dollar idea, that next big app idea, or whatever it is, but the reality is ideas in general are completely useless if you are not a person of action. You can have a billion ideas that are all worth $1 billion each, that proverbial billion-dollar idea, but if you don't ever do anything with any of them, it's useless to you. And what you will find is that when there's an idea that seems to pop into the quantum field, so to speak, and you get this great idea, you are not the only person receiving it at that time. And so really it's a matter of who is going to take action first, or take action at all, because it's not necessarily even about being first, it's about actually just doing something. There can be 3 or 4 people doing the same thing, all successful in their business and everybody succeeding. But what happens is most people aren't even tuned in to be able to get those ideas in the first place. But then if they do nothing with it. I can't tell you how many people have told me, well, I had this great idea, but then I forgot it. You may say, well, how could it be a great idea if they forget it immediately? It's not that it's not a great idea. It could have been a great idea. But they have so consciously destroyed their idea making ability and crushed any action they might would take on it with their apathy and their procrastination, that those ideas pop up and they fall away just as quickly as they popped up. But I want to tell you a way that you can get yourself creating ideas each and every day, and eventually you'll get more of those big, great ideas that you can take action on quickly. And this is so simple, so rudimentary that many people will probably scoff at it, but that's all right. Hear me out on this. What I want you to get is one of these little composition mini notebooks. I've had these for years. Get yourself a little fountain pen I'm going to tell you about, and I'll leave a link in the description to all this stuff. And some ink for the pen. It's a portable little pen you can put in your pocket. It's not going to leak all over you or anything like that. It's not like the traditional fountain pens you may think about where you got to put ink in, it sets in a little specific box for it. It's not like that at all. And then what I want you to do is take this with you everywhere you go, just like you would take your phone with you everywhere you go. And write down any ideas you have. Now, this is where it's going to come counterintuitive to people. They're going to be like, what do you mean any ideas? What if I'm thinking about a new flavor of ice cream? Write it down. I don't care how dumb the idea is. I don't care how out of left field it seems. I don't care if it seems completely useless. Write it down, because here's what's important. Sometimes buried in this weird idea you have that has no practical relevance to anything you're doing in your life, you will discover the main idea that you were intended to find. But there has to be some hunting. Think of it almost like an idea scavenger hunt. So I'll give you an example. Today, I had an idea. I saw this Corvette Stingray, one of the old ones from the 60s, driving down the road, and the wheels are kind of leaning out a little bit. And I thought, I wonder, were they like that originally? I don't remember them being like this, because this was not some run-down vehicle. It looked beautiful, it looked pristine. So it seemed out of place that the wheels would be kind of that way. I've seen newer cars where people do that purposely, camber the wheels, and they do that purposely to their vehicle, but not in older vehicles like this. Especially when this vehicle is worth a lot of money, a lot more than those newer cars that people are just fixing up for street racing or whatever they're doing with them, or showing off. So I wrote that down. And throughout the week, I will go through my things I've written down, and I will look that up. I will research what were the original Corvette Stingray back wheels like. And I've done this so many times over the years with stuff that seems completely useless. Like, why would I even want to learn that? And then I discover something else that leads me to something else that leads me to a great idea. But it was birthed in the seed of that little idea that seemed completely useless on the surface. Do I really care what Corvette wheels were like back in the 60s? No, I do not. But I do not pass up any ideas anymore. If I have an idea, even if it seems foolish, I don't care anymore. I write it down and I research it later. Don't tell yourself, well, I'll remember it later and think about it. You won't. Other things come up and that idea can be gone immediately, especially when it's an idea that is useless like that Corvette idea. That particular idea by itself is useless, but it may very well lead me to other things that are not useless at all and that are very applicable to my life and may even be a business idea I can run with and invest in and get some good returns from. I'm not telling you to go waste a bunch of time researching weird ideas that came into your mind, but start being diligent about writing ideas down. Take this little mini composition notebook and write down ideas in it. The reason I say that, because listen, you can get a piece of paper, you can get a pen that you have laying around your house and just use that. You don't have to buy anything at all. But I like these little composition notebooks because they're easy. If you have a piece of paper in your pocket or something, it's getting all wrinkled up, it's a mess. Just make it easy on yourself. And the reason I like the fountain pen is because it adds some elegance to it. It's not just some cheap little junky pen. It is a cheap pen. It's not expensive by any means, but it just has a better feeling about the writing of it. And very importantly, the reason why I'm telling you to write down in physical paper with a physical pen and not your tablet, not typing it out or anything like that, or even writing on a tablet using a stylus, is because those things do not have the same tactile feel and you do not remember them the same way. It doesn't strike the same neurons that writing physically does. And so it's very important that you physically write this on a physical piece of paper. If you use my Success and Prosperity Journal and Planner, you know from the introduction in that how I describe how it's important that you write things down physically. But if you will do this, take that composition notebook, that little mini notebook with you everywhere you go, and write down any idea that comes to your mind. Good ideas, bad ideas, mediocre ideas, maybe great ideas, write them down. Now you can look through them at the end of the day and say these are all useless and do nothing with them. Some of them you may want to press a little bit more on. Go research a little bit, see what comes up. You may get nothing from this, but here's what's so valuable to you. As you do this, it's very much like a muscle. If you haven't been doing this before, at first it might be a little difficult. That's all right, no big deal. You're building your muscle, so to speak. But as you keep doing this, keep adding to your ability, keep increasing your ability to come up with great ideas, you will start coming up with some magnificent ideas, my friend. Some of these weird ideas that you come by will lead you to absolutely wonderful ideas. So I cannot emphasize this enough. This is very important. You have built within you a free idea generation machine. It has been, for most people, turned off. Even if it tries to self-auto turn on, it gets shut down almost immediately. But you are going to start having it in full gear and writing those ideas down, taking them seriously, even if they're not good. That's all right. This is not about coming up with some billion-dollar idea. This is about stirring up that ability that's already within you and building it, growing it, increasing it, so that you become an idea generation machine that you've always been, but you've just been holding it back. Maybe when you were a kid, you were told no, you were told that's a dumb idea, you were told that can't work. And so you kind of shut that stuff down. But now you're not worried about it. You're an adult, presumably, if you're watching this video, and you're going to run with your ideas. If they're good, if they're valid, you're going to run with them. And this is a way to start building that idea generation machine to become the great blessing that it was intended to be. You're to be like your creator God. You're to be like God, who is the creator. That creativity is locked up within inside you, and it is waiting to be unleashed. So take this idea and run with it, and watch as you become that true idea generating machine that you were intended to be. My friend, I pray this is a blessing for you. May God bless you richly.